The Clippers, man. No Kawhi Leonard. And, it was for the betterment of the team because he clearly wasn't right. And it didn't make sense to keep rolling him out there when he was not even healthy to play, really. It was just, hey, we all knew it was kind of improvised all the way through. But James Harden and Paul George showed up, man. Paul George was sensational in the fourth quarter. He was hitting everything. Made an incredible throw, made an incredible shot in the fourth to give the Clippers the lead after the Mavs stormed all the way back from what was it, like a 30-point lead or however big it was in the first half. The Mavs stormed back, and Paul George hit the biggest shot of the night to me. The three ball he hit was sensational. James Harden then was able to abuse Luka on switches because Luka had 5 fouls and then abused PJ Washington. And James Harden did really well. He was appropriately aggressive and knew he can get over PJ Washington or Luka however he wants. And he was ready for that floater. He was ready for his float game, and he was sensational. But we know Harden can show up in the playoffs, right? That's not been the problem with him. He has been a really solid playoff performer, but he just has sometimes those performances where you're like, what the fuck is going on? And this series, he's been consistently really good. And I just gotta give him props. Shout out to Mason Plumlee. I thought he made a really good impact. He had the right energy and uh, ran the floor really well, hustled. Norman Powell continues to shoot really well. Yeah, and Terrence Mann hit some 3-pointers, which was huge. But this was all about the superstars. Paul George, James Harden just showed up and stood on business. Even though it was looking like the Clippers were going to do the most Clippers thing you'll ever see and blow a 30-point lead in the playoffs or whatever, however big it was. But the Mavs, at the end of the day, uh, Luka did not have it going, and they relied too much on obviously tough shot making and one-on-one action. And Kyrie was delivering pretty much all night, but he had some rough turnovers going downhill. And one of the shots when they were going band for band, as they like to say on Twitter, went to Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington in the corner. So um, the Mavs came in with the wrong energy. Luka's been such a weird player in this series. He's been having a really bad series. The numbers don't say it, but the body language, the antics, some of the shots, some of the complaining. I think Luka's been having a really bad series to me, honestly. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Obviously, Luka's bad is different than, for example, Paul George bad, right? Because Paul George bad would mean he probably has like 7 points like he did in Game 3. So uh, Luka needs to step it up in my opinion a little more. He needs to step up. He needs to just not foul as much as he did today because that really hampered him on defense. And he needs to, I don't know if keep his emotions in check. He toys the line really well, but it's not been working for him, man. And I don't know, man. I just don't like the attitude of Luka in this series overall. Um, I don't think it's been worth it. Uh, and Kyrie, after he has bad starts to all games, and then he just shows up and dominates. The problem was Daniel Gafford didn't show up today. PJ Washington wasn't as impressive as he was in game 3, and off the bench you essentially had Derek Lively and Maxi Kleber doing good, but Maxi Kleber didn't do well enough because they were, he was forced to play drop on Harden in the fourth quarter because of the lob threat of Ivica Zubac, and like I said, they were getting blown by Harden all the time. So weird loss for the Mavs, man. I thought they were gonna take complete control of the series, but they had a hugely disappointing start. Some bad turnovers. The Clippers, obviously, Clippers stars in James Harden and Paul George showed up, and then you had uh, just tough shot making in the fourth quarter, where it was truly an incredible showing of shot making. But in the end, the Clippers had a much easier path to their shots in the end because of the 5 fouls on Luka, because of the defense they played on Harden, and uh, you know the Clippers also protected the paint really well, which Kyrie hit that one insane shot where he was in the air for what felt like forever, but then he tried it again, and the Clippers were in there once again really well. And I mean, if he hits some of those shots all the time, it's just not sustainable. While the Clippers offense, after that tough Paul George 3 was, came really easy to them because of the way they couldn't defend Harden in those pick and rolls and in those one-on-one coverages, uh, because of because of fouls, and PJ Washington just couldn't stay in front of Harden. Like, he was getting cooked by Harden, unfortunately. And I don't know if you could have doubled Harden, um, off of, for example, Terrence Mann, but at the end of the day, we have a tight series back to Los Angeles, which should be fun. And I think Luka has to have one of those, explosions, because he's just not been as great as he usually is in the playoffs. Like, he's been shooting, he's been having his averages, but he's been kinda all over the place, I would say. And some of it has to do with the nasty energy he's carrying throughout these playoffs so far. But we'll see what happens in game 5, where the pressure kinda shifts back to the Clippers, and we know what happens to Harden and Paul George in those pressure moments, or at least what usually happens. Will Kawhi play? I hope not, because it feels like it makes no sense. I've not read anything about that. And can Daniel Gafford, I would say, give you better minutes than he did today? Can you get some more from him, or Josh Green, or Maxi Kleber? Really disappointed in Dante Exum also. He had a really great regular season, but in these playoffs, he's been, bad in every single time, he was in there. I know he's not gotten much time, but I mean, today he got 2 minutes because of how bad he played when he got more time. So that's tough for the Mavs. But, you know, Kyrie, eh, would like to see him get, go off to a good start, because, like I said, he's just not had many good starts to games. And I'm intrigued to see how Luka just plays in game 5. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you all for listening.